It's the Christmas season, and if you know me, you'll know that I love Christmas and horror movies. And what's better than mixing the two of them? There are lots of Christmas horror movies, and a lot of terrible looking ones, like this one. I've seen this one. Never watch it unless you hate yourself. Actually, if this video gets enough views or subscribers, I'll make a video on this goddamn terrible movie.
The cookies with green Christmas trees are poisonous? Oh crap!
You have your classics like Black Christmas, Krampus, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Home Alone, but I've seen those. Today, I'm going to be watching A Christmas Horror Story. Spoilers, obviously. The first thing we see is a bloody Santa with something or someone trying to break into his shed. We then cut to 12 hours earlier where we have William Shatner hosting a radio station, and honestly, if Star Trek never took off, he should have done radio. He's got the voice for it. Captain Kirk tells us about a food drive in the mall and that Norm will be working there. He seems real excited for it. As soon as Norm leaves, Captain Kirk plays some Christmas music, and now we're following a new plotline with 3 teenagers. Molly pulls out a video of a cop's body cam that shows 2 cops investigating someplace. There's a dead guy strung up on the wall, and a Bible passage that reads, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given." Then one of the cops hears someone singing, and an obnoxious jump scare happens. They're going here for an assignment because they need to capture her own footage because she stole this one. And I gotta say, dumb plan. Going to the place where some sort of ritualistic murder happened and a cop quit his job refusing to talk about the experience. I wouldn't do this for several reasons, but I guess I'm just a pussy. Dylan's girlfriend Caprice stops by to give them the keys to the place and leaves because her dad planned a last-minute road trip. Now we're following them. Fuck whatever haunted place those 3 kids want to investigate and most likely die from. Now we get to the real plot of the movie. A road trip for 12 hours. That's exactly what I've been waiting to see. This is the most stereotypical idea of a family on a road trip I've seen, and I can't describe to you how bad I want to punch this kid in the face. Look at him and tell me he doesn't have a punchable face. The dad's talking about how everyone needs to behave because they're visiting his old Aunt Etta. The mom is complaining about going there and how she doesn't want to see his old aunt because she hates everyone. Anyway, we see a car on the side of the road, and if you thought we had our main characters with that family or the teenagers or even Norm and William Shatner, well, fuck you, because now we're following this other family getting a Christmas tree. Look, I get this is an anthology, and they're trying to get this idea that all of these stories are happening at the same time. That's fine. But it causes issues for the story later that I'll get to, and I would have preferred if they finished the story before moving on to the next is really all I'm getting at. We go back to these 3 dumbasses who I can't wait to die as they've broken into... I really don't know what this place is. It looks like a church or a school, and it kind of looks like my high school vaguely. We learned that it's a Catholic private school, and that explains a lot, and that 2 students were murdered last year, but the killer's still active. They hear the principal coming down the stairs, and quickly hide into the restricted area. As they go further in, they see some creepy old showers in a sink. Anyway, Family 2 pulls up to their old aunt's house, and Etta seems friendly. I can make her make that noise all night. Gonna be real. Wasn't expecting the first thing I hear out of dear old Aunt Etta is her moaning like that. I was expecting "I'll get off my porch and property, you bastards, I don't want to see you," and just be like a real Scrooge type, but shit, if she moans like that for me, I tolerate her. So the dad's trying to get forgiveness from Etta because of something his mom did in the past so they can be a happy family again. Actually, what he's trying to do is get Etta to help him with some debt, you know. Got a lot of big bills coming up, and he needs some money. The kid whose face I want to punch, or Duncan as the movie likes to call him, picks up a figurine of Krampus, and Etta yells at him to put it down because it's old. I hope Krampus puts you in his sack and beats you. Wait, no, that's not what I'm... The dad walks away with Etta because he has to show her something she might be interested in, which sounds like sex, and given how Etta moaned earlier, that might be the case. As soon as they leave, this fucking prick picks up the Krampus statue again. The daughter puts whatever she was fiddling with in her pocket, and the mom pours herself a drink. Fuck this guy and his whole family. I get why Etta hates you guys. You are a bunch of annoying, self-entitled pieces of shit, acting like Santa and Krampus aren't watching. We get a quick explanation of who Krampus is from the groundskeeper, who warns the little shit about being naughty. He pushes the Krampus statue off the table, and in anger, Etta kicks everyone out of her house. And now we get to finally find out what's up with Santa and why he was covered in blood. I forgot that's how this movie started. We've had so many plot lines. One of the elves coughs, but Mrs. Claus comes in with cookies. And instead of eating them, he cuts his hand open with an axe and dies.
I said I don't want a goddamn cookie! You reindeer fucking snow whore!
Moving along, Family 2 is bringing their treat to the car when their son Will disappears. They come across this big-ass tree with a hole in it, and wouldn't you know it, Will pops out. Kids continue exploring the school. They talk about a girl who supposedly had a virgin birth, and a ghost appears. Ooh, spooky. I don't care. The dad is complaining that his family couldn't behave themselves for a couple hours when they run over Krampus getting their car stuck. Looks like shit in this frame. And it's only this frame. Like, in other parts of the movie, he looks kind of decent, but here, it just looks like he got green screened on. I don't know why. The kids finish filming their video and get creeped out, but now they're locked in and can't leave. Back at Family 2's house, Will is being weird by eating too much and not speaking. He stabs his dad with a fork. If my kid ever did that to me, he's getting sent to the mines. Over at Santa's workshop, Santa tells Mrs. Claus that the elves are infected and becoming zombies. Suddenly a bunch of elves come to attack and Santa absolutely wrecks their shit. I really despise the pacing of this movie. It's like whenever we start to get something cool and interesting happening in one story, they cut to the next, and then we have to build that up again just so they can do it again. And it's like, no, just let me finish the one story and then tell the next story and then finish that story and tell the next story is how I would prefer they'd done it. But, you know, maybe I'm just a dumbass and just want to see more of Santa killing elves. That is true. I do want to see more of Santa killing zombie elves, and not whatever the fuck else is happening in the rest of these plots. Anyway, we go back to the kids who are exploring a basement since they're locked in, and one of them sees a ghost and say nothing about it. They discuss what they're gonna do because there's a killer on the loose and they're trapped in the place where the last victims were found. Dylan decides to go take a piss, and Ben starts to hear a girl singing, although he doesn't quite understand what he's hearing. As soon as it stops, Molly sees the ghost and screams and falls to the floor, where we go back to Will's family and the mom is taking a shower. She goes to her husband and addresses how weird Will has been acting, especially since he hasn't been using his inhaler. The husband dismisses this because horny, but she persists about how strange Will is. He gets upset, goes to the couch to drink, and Will sneaks into her room while she's sleeping and is just a fucking creep. She wakes up, sees someone run out of the room, and investigates Will's room. The other family is walking through the woods when Duncan tries to warn them of Krampus. The dad interrupts, saying it's a load of shit, and gets grappled. The mom and sister check on him as Duncan grabs the flare and immediately gets grappled into the darkness. See a fucker? Checking in on Santa, and he's getting in an elevator when a bunch of elves attack. We cut to the elevator opening with all the elves slaughtered. I wish we had more of this. William Shatner tries to contact Norm, but it's hard to hear anything, so he continues with his show. Will's dad wakes up to see all of the presents open. Another kid getting sent to Krampus' sack. That came out wrong. Scott scolds Will, getting ready to beat his ass with a belt, and Will is a cocky little fucker. And the mom defends him for whatever fucking reason, and puts him to bed. The mom then gets a call from the property owner whose land they broke into and asks if her son is alright. She tells him that Will got lost, but they found him, and he warns her that that isn't her son, but it's actually a changeling, and that she needs to bring it back to get her real son. Over at the school, the girl is clearly possessed and gets Dylan to follow her. She leads him to a room and tries to fuck him. Dylan refuses because he's a good, loyal man, I tell you what, and the room begins to shake. Back to the changeling. And Scott is rehearsing an apology while Kim is looking up changelings. She hears a weird noise and goes to investigate, where she sees her dead husband. Family 1 finds a church to hide, which is probably their best bet, honestly, for surviving Krampus. The dad decides that this is also a good idea and decides that maybe if he confesses his sins, it'll call off Krampus. Caprice admits that she stole a lighter from Edda, but nothing that bad compared to what other kids are doing. The mom disagrees because Duncan was innocent, and Caprice reveals that Duncan killed all their pets while she saw Duncan covered in blood with a trash bag smiling. I am glad this psycho died. Nothing more to it than that. The mom angrily blames the dad, and then he confesses that he doesn't have a business, and they're living off of loans, basically, that are all about to come crashing down. But he did it all for his wife. Aww. He is then immediately killed by Krampus. The two girls hide in the confessional as Krampus slips his tongue inside. Ew. The mom has Caprice run away while she fights Krampus. She dies without putting much of a fight. Molly, the possessed girl, seduces Ben, and after they've done doing the deed, she realizes what just happened. Will's mom calls that one guy so they can get a plan on how to get the changeling back over there, which will be difficult because he's tasted human luxuries now. Her plan? Knocking Will the fuck out. I stand by it, that'll work. Santa kills some more elves when William Shatner warns us of a tragedy down at the food drive, but nothing is clear on what happened yet. Will's mom has fake Will in the sack when the owner shows up and they see a bunch of changelings appear. Will's mom asks for her son and the owner says that he doesn't know where her son is. She points a gun at the changeling and the owner points his gun at her because he is a protector of them or something like that. I don't know, she shoots him, doesn't matter. The changeling goes into the tree hole and Will pops out. Missing his clothes, the story ends. Let's not worry about that. At the school, Molly sees a girl giving birth with two nuns helping. Ben finds Dylan's body stabbed in the face with a cross. Sure. Molly realizes that that girl possessed her and is going to make her have her child. For what reason, I don't know. The ghost throws Ben against the wall, much like how Spencer got thrown in iCarly.
And I am taking these kids home right now because I told them, oh God, I'm afraid.
But Molly kills Ben, R.I.P. Ben, and the ghost possesses Molly and walks out of school. Another story over. What that one was about? Fuck if I know. Duncan's sister runs back to Edda's house, where a big-ass cross is in front of her door. She begs for Edda to let her in, but no response is given, with Krampus getting closer. She stabs him in the neck with a stick and lights him on fire. Let's go! Krampus morphs into the groundskeeper, and Edda tells Caprice about Christmas spirit, and how a person lets in enough hate, they can become Krampus. Caprice realizes Edda's plan, which was knowing the groundskeeper would become Krampus after Edda kicked out her family, and the groundskeeper, so he would kill them, and she had a cross to guarantee her safety. Yeah, sure. Caprice lets in enough hate so she can turn into Krampus and kills Edda. Story over. Santa finds Mrs. Claus, who has unfortunately been infected, so Santa kills her. We go back to see who was barging into Santa's shed from the beginning, and it's Krampus. So is Caprice still possessed by Krampus, or is this an entirely different Krampus? Because if this is Caprice being possessed by Krampus, then shouldn't Santa be trying to do some sort of, like Christmas ritual to cleanse her? I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot more things we could do besides jumping straight to murder, because in the grand scheme of things, the only bad thing she did was kill her old Aunt Edda, and I would argue that Edda deserved it for knowing that she was using her family as bait for Krampus. I'm on Caprice's side. Doesn't matter. We get a cool fight scene between the two of them, and Santa's about to deliver the final blow to Krampus when he says something quite interesting. He calls him Norman.
Norman, stop! Please don't kill me, Norman.
Norman? Who's Norman?
What the fuck is wrong with you, Norman?
Hall is the guy at William Shatner's radio show, and this whole zombie elf Santa plotline, yeah, that's been in his head. It's one big delusion that he's having, which, if this had been in, like, its own 130-minute movie, I would love this, and I'd watch it every year. But since it's stuck in with all this pile of shit, I don't care and don't want to watch it. And that's a little disappointing, considering the zombie elf Santa plotline with Norm's the Mad Delusions is so good. That's such a good story right there. If only that was it, though. The cops arrive, shoot, and kill him. With this great plot twist, though, causes issues for the rest of the plot, like, did those three kids die to a ghost and one of them get possessed in the school? Did Will get kidnapped by a changeling? And did Caprice actually turn into Krampus and her whole family get murdered by Krampus? Like, because at the end of the movie, it's revealed that Krampus was just a delusion. So, if he was just a delusion, then what the fuck is going on with the Krampus plotline? Like, it all crumbles, and I hate it. The twist at the end, as good as it is, just leaves me with more questions than answers, and I just wish we got the whole feature-length movie of Santa killing zombie elves and with the plot twist at the end. So that the only real plot that I care about is the Santa zombie one, because that's the most interesting. The Changeling plotline is alright, but it didn't captivate me in any way. Just kind of left me bored. The three dumbass teenagers with the haunted school, I was just waiting for them to die because I thought their plan was done from the get-go. And the Krampus one was cool. I actually liked it, but it could have been way better, and I wish it were. I'd be a little bit more lukewarm to the movie if they didn't have Krampus show up at the end with Santa, because that just leaves me with more questions than answers and confused as hell as to what Caprice was. And so, as it stands, 4 out of 10, but if we got nothing but the Santa zombie plotline, 10 out of 10 movie right there, I tell you what. And I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Just so you know, I plan on making reviews on 3 more movies, those being Christmas Twister, Sick for Toys, and Better Watch Out. I just ran out of time and only had time to make a review for this one. So if you want to watch the reviews for those other 3 movies, let me know and I'll make them. Hope you guys have a good happy holidays, and I'll catch you in the next video.